Halo Kak Calis, selamat malam Kak.
Selamat
Thank you.
malam.
Hello, hello.
Halo.
Hello, hello. So yeah, I think we're just gonna use English for this interview because that's what you prefer.
Yes,
So that's fine. Once again, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to participate in this interview. I really appreciate you for helping me out here. So thank you very much.
of course, of course. I am always
Um,
here. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, first of all, I think we'll go with introductions first. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Rafiat Budiman. I am currently an undergraduate student of School of Business and Management of ITB, SBM ITB. Currently going through my third year at SPM ITB, and this is part of my task. So, the purpose of this interview is basically it's part of my subject of business researcher methods course assignment. The research is basically will explore about how participation in hobby-based communities can contribute to developing employability skills among the Gen Z of university students. I want your insight as a community leader, as someone who started the community, so it'll help me understand better how community participation influences members' personal and professional development.
Right.
That sort of the thing. You understand everything I've said so far?
Yes,
Is
I
that
understand.
clear?
I understand.
Okay. Okay. Um, Before we do start, I do want to ask consent, of course. With your permission, I would like to record this interview to ensure I don't miss any important information while preparing the interview transcript. The recording will be used solely for academic purposes, will remain confidential, and will not be shared publicly. Would that be all right with you?
Yes, that's all right.
All right, perfect. Then, if that's the case, let's just start with our interview then. Okay. Ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Why don't we start off with introduction from you, from your side? Why don't you give an introductions on who you are, what you do, where you are currently studying right now, and perhaps tell me a bit about your community.
Of course. First of all, my name is Chalis Fadla Amin, and I am a student in Universitas Gadjah Mada in the international program for psychology. And currently, I am the creator of an animation series called Valiant Heart, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Valiant Heart. From that, I was able to create a community of my own, a Discord community, and just a community in general on YouTube and Twitter, with about 600 members on my Discord server and about 10,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel.
Wow, wow. Okay, so you have quite the following. Yeah, looks like you've had people worldwide. It's nice to see it grow over time. This actually segments perfectly the next question. Could you tell me a little bit about the Valiant Heart community, its people, and your role especially as its main stakeholder, since you were the person who started it?
Of course. So the Valiant Heart community is mainly a community based on the Pokemon series. If you're familiar with Pokemon as a video game, there is this game called Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, which is one of the games that was released around the 2010s, in the early 2010s, and it has a very tight knit community based on a lot of people from the Pokemon community that is very much trying to get into this more emotional um connection to Pokemon as a series, and has a sort of story of self-discovery, of acceptance, of community. And from that, I was able to also, like, I was very inspired by these games, and I was able to make a community from animations that I've made. And I've noticed that a lot of the people who come into this community are people um, who are very interested in original stories, and stories that and original and making characters from this sort of series and story that I've created. And this sort of inspired people to make their own, to be creative. There's a lot of creatives in this community that sort of create their own characters in the series itself. So I believe my role in this in my role in this community is mostly to provide this world building and um facilitate their creativity by creating something of my own, and having other people follow through and be a part of this sort of world.
Wow, wow, okay. So it's nice for you to basically like make this place, yeah, where people can have their own creative liberties, they can do their own thing, and seeing it grow must be pretty fun, huh? So like, how do you think the community evolved over time, though? I mean, like, I'm assuming like this vision you had wasn't easy to do, you know?
No,
How did it evolve over time?
at first it really didn't go. It didn't really start from fun. It really just started from an idea of, hey, I wanted to make something of my own. At first, it really was just um, my own YouTube channel and my own just groups of friends and all that kind of stuff. It really like my Discord server before I made Valiant Heart. It was about 100 members, and my subscribers were very much little.
Wow,
We didn't
wow.
even reach like 1,000, I think. And after I created Valiant Heart, that's when it started to grow. That's when people started to actually come in, and it reached about like 300 to 400 in a span of like a month, I'd say. And I think that's when people started to talk more, to be part of the community more, and I was able to be to sort of like gain this traction and facilitate more of like the creativity and just the community in general.
Oh, so okay, so people will join and it grew over time, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, this actually also relates to the second question. How do people usually join and become active participants in this community?
It's very easy to really be a part of the community. You really just watch the videos, I would say, or just join the Discord server. I have my own social media where I post a lot of things. I post a lot of like videos, photos, all kinds of things. Just on Twitter, YouTube. I was able to, and people can just join through the links on my YouTube channel, and um, it's very easy for people to just be a part of the community just from watching the series by itself. People don't really need to watch people don't really need to join the Discord server or be active in the community to be a part of it. People can just like comment on the YouTube channel, and that by itself can really just have that sense of community and be a part of like the grand scheme of the story of just being there when you watch it. So um, be as for being an active participant is you can just like go to the Discord server on the description of my channels, and you're just set.
I see. So being an active member, basically joining a Discord server and doing your own thing. I'm assuming like creating art, stories, or any of the such, and being a perhaps a more inactive community member. You just watch the videos and just comment around on your videos, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, okay. Okay, so it's nice for you to have that sort of common characteristic between the two. I think it's important to have it, especially for this area. Okay, but in your opinion, Chalice, what motivates members to stay active and remain involved in the community over time, especially like in a long period of time? I know like making these videos can take quite a bit.
I believe one of the things that has people the activities that motivate people in to be active is definitely the stories and the speculations that people have about the story in general. There's a lot of um, like loose story posts that happen in the community, like in the series itself, in Valiant Heart itself. So a lot of people talk about the stuff that happens in the videos themselves, and they speculate about, oh, what's gonna happen next, oh, what are these characters gonna do, oh, all that kind of stuff. And I believe those things are one of the main things that people sort of get motivated by. These questions that make them speculate about what's next, and they start to like headcanon about like, oh, what will happen next. So I believe that's mostly.
Sorry, your audio is getting a bit low.
that better?
Hello, hello. Yep, that's that's way better. That's way better.
Sorry
We're
about
good.
that.
We're good. We're good.
Okay.
No worries. No worries. But could you
Um,
could you repeat the answer, please?
right. So basically, the main motivator to for people to participate in the community is definitely whenever there's something something that they want to speculate and sort of find out about what happens next in the story. So stuff that happens in the story themselves, they'll talk about it and they'll speculate and sort of theorize on what's gonna happen. What do these characters mean? What do they what will happen next for these characters? And that sort of perpetuates the discussion that people have within this community, and people can join in like, oh, I think this will happen. Oh, I think this represents this. So by creating this story and keeping it certain things vague and making people question, it gets people to discuss more with other people and sort of like have these sort of talks about what happens next. And this can also perpetuate the discussion and have more people to even like, oh, they start to make fan art of these kinds of things, and that also helps provide this sort of cycle and perpetuate more of the activity in the community, which motivates them more.
Hmm. I see, I see. So basically, you, I think motivation depends on, I guess, the anticipation for the next video. Yeah,
Yeah.
people start questioning, theorizing, and from there, people usually make fan art, stories, and so much more. I think it's really interesting to see what exactly, at least from what I've seen, yeah, the people in your community do over time. It's really fun seeing people speculate. Oh, the next episode this is gonna happen. The next episode,
Yeah,
this
basically.
character's gonna do this, and it's quite fun. And then we can see if those things come into fruition or not.
Mhm.
So it's interesting to see how active and remain involved. Okay, next question. What kind of activities or events do members most frequently participate in within this community? What do they usually do? Perhaps there's communities that you've held with your staff or such.
Oh, you mean like events?
Yeah. Like activities, events,
right.
something maybe done frequently.
Okay. In terms of community events that we held, there are quite a few. A few notable ones were definitely character creation competition, where where the community would create a character based on the world of Valiant Heart, and that there would be a submission form where they would be able to like send all of their like details and like all like with art, with backstory, all that kind of stuff, and everyone else can also see and even like can interact with one another. And by the end, there we be choosing 10 winners, and 10 of them will be cameos, you could say, where they would actually show up in the series themselves. So they'd be show up in the background, and with the best that represents Valiant Heart, like from the judges, would be able to show up in the series itself. I believe that's one of the most like interesting, I would say, that happens to like involve like so much of the community, and like there's been so much like even fan art of these fan characters, which makes it very interesting to see like the community interact with one another. There were other events such as movie nights and just community events that involve like multiple people, like this sort of thing called a community Hunger Games, where people would just submit their names, and there's this randomly generated Hunger Game kind of scenario, and just it would just have these silly things that happens, and it's just like a really fun time. So I would say there's quite a lot of activities and just events in general in the community that just keep it really going.
I see. So stuff. I think that also relates to what you said earlier. regarding how people stay active in the community. So I think having an event relate to character creation and plus their own story, I think, really makes it much better. And having like smaller events, like you mentioned, like the Hunger Games thing, that's like from the web, right? So it
Yes.
also makes it more easier, simpler, and makes the community way more engaged. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Okay, okay. Uh, Based on your experience, for the next question, sorry, based on your experience, do you think active participation in this community has contributed to the personal development of its members? Why or why not?
I believe that it has definitely played a part in their personal developments. I can't say for sure in the
How so? How so?
I can't say for sure for the very, very specific parts, as personal development in just by itself is a very, well, personal thing. But if it comes down to how it portrays and helps people with just their own personal like skills or just communication or anything of the sorts, I believe that the community has played a pretty substantial part in some people. I think that from when I see people make fan art, from when I see people draw their favorite characters, I can see the improvement gradually as they make more of those. I think it becomes more of a great vessel or great source for people to draw their creativity and inspiration from. And I've also seen so many people get friends and just talk more and just like have these sort of bonds with each other just from being a part of the community itself. So I believe from what I've seen as just, seeing it from myself, I think that as a whole, quite a lot of people did get a lot from the community, I'd say.
I see, I see, I see. Hmm. But do you think there's like a difference though, but for the highly active and less active members?
In terms of in terms of what exactly?
Like, do you think there's a difference of highly active members having like more development on their side,
Oh,
or
I see.
the less active members not having like much like development? Like, what do you think?
I can't say for certain in that regard because most of the people who are inactive don't really show as much of personal development or anything like that because there's no basis to really compare whether or not people are active or not active and their personal development in that regard. By from my own observation, I can only say that people who have been active did learn some things, did socialize more, did like have more friends, or get like gain more confidence in their selves and in some ways with their art or creativity or all that regard. There's a lot of things that happens in terms of the community by itself. But in terms of whether or not to compare people who are active or inactive in their personal development, I can't say for sure, unfortunately.
I see, I see, I see. Okay, okay. Thank you. Mm, do you think you've developed though, like over time? I know you're not really you're more of a person that made it, but like, do you feel like you've developed over time
I
with
would
Valiant
say
Heart?
so. I'd say that I've developed in terms of many things, my skills, my some parts of my social self. I mean, like I never expected myself to be here, so that's something to get experience from, and it provides me with some form of experience in community management. Excuse me, in community management,
All right.
and well, I suppose considering I am also an active and create person in the community, seeing as I'm the creator, I think that it did help me a lot in terms of plenty of things, just from social and just actual skills. So yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so.
Okay, okay. All right. Thank you. It's good to know that you've also grown along the way with your people. Next question. What skills or abilities do you think are most commonly developed by members who are actively participate in the community?
Definitely creative. Creative is definitely the most seen skills that people have shown from just their fan art, or just not even fan art in general, just showing off their art and their creative skills. We have two different art channels and even like a separate channel to discuss about creativity. So people would usually show off their art there, and most of the time, whenever they do, people get a lot of reactions of like how good their art is. There's a lot of support in the community that sort of help build upon that and give them their confidence and just their skills in general. And even outside of art, there's a lot of people who started coding and programming
Ooh.
because of the series, the Valiant Heart series. Because the Valiant Heart series initially, or actually not initially, it is created through a game engine. So from that, people started to realize, oh, I think I want to do this as well. So just from that, people started to want to learn to code so they can actually try and replicate or even make their own like series. So I think that's from the community in general. There's a lot of people who really started being more creative and starting their own journey and making writing and their own like creative projects just to just because like, oh yeah, they're inspired. I think that's one of the things that I see, and something that I am really fortunate to see, that come from the community.
I think that's true. Creativity is a very big trademark here, especially with EMD especially. So I agree on that regard, especially with your competition from earlier. Okay, next question. Have you ever observed any significant changes in members after they become actively involved in the community? If so, could you share an example, perhaps as you can think of, maybe someone that was able to develop their art over time, or maybe someone's writing or coding, perhaps? So someone that you can think of that you mentioned earlier.
I would say that there was an example of someone who did get more into this, more into the community that made them develop their art. There was this one person who at first didn't really show off a lot of their art. They were like, their art was very amateurish at first. But as they make more fan art, most of them aren't really like, it wasn't about the quality or like the very fine details, but mostly just because they wanted to make it. I've seen their art gradually just get better and better. There was just more details. There was more things that like at first like didn't have them, shading and like shadows, all that kind of stuff. As they make more fan art, as they started creating more within this community and just interacting with more people and just like having this sort of interaction between them and the community, I feel like their art just grew and just improved like steadily over time. I believe it's about like 1 to 2 years, maybe a year, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
About a
Okay.
year of progress, and I could just see that growth, and it's very impressive to see. It makes me very proud, honestly.
Consistency is key. That's pretty wow. It's good that you also notice your members, seeing them grow over time. That's really nice. All right. Next question. How does this community help its members develop skills? Of course, there's examples. You can mention more, like communication, teamwork, leadership, problem solving, creativity, or any of the such.
All right. Well, most of the time in terms of the community, I think it's very much a support group. So people, whenever they share their things, share their like projects, or share their like thoughts in any way, everyone in the community is very supportive. A lot of the times they try to help people out. They build each other's trust and they build their confidence by giving them words of support. But not only through that, I believe they also help in critical thinking as well. Because what I've noticed is that when it comes to very big discussions in terms of the story or just in art itself, like in the very fine details and all that kind of stuff. I believe a lot of the people are very particular with certain details and certain things that happen within the community, things that happen within the series. So even through finding out like certain things that happen within the series, like there's a whole wiki that people make within the series that I didn't make, that was just made by the community itself, and everyone
Oh wow.
sort of like get to the finer details within the series and like look through frame by frame what it is, what's this, what's that. So there's a lot of problem solving and just detective work, you could say, from different parts of the community that sort of try to figure out certain parts of things. And when someone gets it wrong or someone like is stumbling with certain things, another person shares their own view and it sort of coalesce into more a better constructed argument, you could say. And I think that's something that I've, as an observer, because I can't tell any of the answers, I find that very interesting, because there were some times that people got it very close. Some people that got it like that speculated in ways that made it really compelling, and I could see and like I could nod along and say like, yeah, you're very close on that. Of course, I didn't openly admit that, but as a whole, I think a lot of people are very talented, and I think they have a lot of critical thinking, a lot of critical thinking skills.
Of course. Understandable. I think it's a really cool thing, and like we won't even know when we do tell it.
Of course, I mean, like, yeah, they won't.
Do you think like they develop these skills though, like consciously or like naturally over time?
I don't think it's something that they consciously think about. It's something that's definitely unconscious, and you gain, like, most of the time you really don't gain these skills because you do seek them out. It's something that just happens, and you sort of like grow from that.
I see. Well, happens, I suppose, when you're doing stuff out of love. Okay, next question. In your opinion, can participating in a hobby-based community provide valuable preparation for entering the workforce? Why or why not?
I believe that entering hobby-based communities is very beneficial for entering the workforce, because I believe that being in this kind of community and being a part of something that you truly love can inspire you to pursue some career-based opportunities that you probably want to pursue. At first, I really didn't want to. It wasn't really my intention to start coding or make games or on like all that kind of stuff. But from this community, just from myself in general, I was able to want to pursue coding and want to make my own games. There were a few times that I looked into a lot of internships, and I got into more of the coding side in a particular company, and I got to help with a lot of their coding as well. And there was a time that I helped in a lot of things using my own skills in video editing, in writing, in animating, in creative design, all that kind of stuff. From those skills, you are able to really particularly use them, even though like back then it was a hobby, it was something that you just like, and it inspired you to sort of make it your own. Right now, I'm planning to pursue business or pursue like to create my own game company just from this whole business. Because from this whole hobby thing in general, it inspired me to want to create my own thing. I want to create my own games, my own game company, my own like bigger scale communities and all that kind of stuff. I believe that from people participating in this community, they're able to really use the stuff that they've learned from just um, creative writing or drawing or coding and all that kind of stuff, and use it for whatever they want. And from that, it can develop into real hard skills that can persist into the future.
Interesting. No, you actually mentioned more about like experiences and internship and jobs. Have you heard like any members or maybe even yourself? Could you get more into that? Like your experiences, maybe something more professional. Like, were you a coder or at one point, or like, what's your plan after you're done with this college in UGM? Like, what's like? Could you get more into that?
Ah, yes. So to get into my experiences as a coder, I was able to help a lot of people. Some people went to me for tutoring, basically. They wanted to create their own series. And what I was able to do was tutor them exactly how I was able to make the series. And from that, they made their own series. I believe about a lot of quite a few people actually that went to me to so I can tutor them, and they ended up making like very successful series. Like right now, there's already one on
Mhm.
YouTube that was built on the framework of my own. And professionally,
Oh,
I would say, in just my own sense, I was able to use my editing skills to create um product showcases of
cool.
their own, like the company I was working on, their products, using my editing skills. So I was able to showcase what they have and use my editing skills to create diagrams and animations that showcase how the product works and how it functions. So it doubles as a instruction manual with animation. So I
Oh.
was able to help with that with my internship as well. So just using these skills can really work, even if it doesn't really um, correlate to the internship that you're doing or whatever professional setting that you're doing to a T. It doesn't have to particularly fit like everything, but just having these skills in general can really help you from boosting what you have and giving you a better um, skill set and things that you can do within a company, I would say.
Oh, oh, okay, that's interesting. So professional experience you've got because of this is it's really cool. Wow. Okay. This also is the next question, actually. What skills do you believe university students need the most when entering the workforce? And do you think this community helps develop those skills?
I believe a lot of university students need to have a sense of how do you call it? It's more of a sense of wanting to reach for your own goal. It's in a way independence and resilience, because something that people have said a lot is that during this sort of era, people are struggling to find jobs. People are struggling to enter the workforce because people you need experience to get into the workforce, and people who want that kind of experience and expect something from you, which is very difficult to have when you just got out of college, when you just studied all your life and did what you can with what you have. And it's really hard to appease the people that sort of expect you to get so much, to do so much when you want to learn. I believe that something that people forget is that finding out your own path doesn't rely on just the straight way. I feel like you can learn things from just all the things around you, from all the things that you've got like done, all the stuff that you enjoyed and felt like, I'd love to pursue this. I think that's creativity in seeing what's around you and seeing what you can do with it, seeing what you have and pursuing that. It can really help with giving you a new perspective in not just um dreading everything, like having to get this so like this sort of like um one-sided goal of just, oh yeah, I need to get a job so I can get money, so this, and I learned this, so I must be this. I think that's very close-minded. I think people should learn
Yeah,
to
yeah,
open
yeah.
themselves more, from using their own
Mm,
skills in many different ways, or being in things that they don't particularly know or understand too much, but wanting to pursue and learn because they have that passion, that resilience, that drive to push them forward. I think this community push people to sort of pursue things that's not the straightforward way. I think thinking outside of the box and pursuing things and making their own path, you could say, is something that's very important
uh,
and something that I want to sort of plant in people's heads and their lives. Something that people should sort of strive for, I would say.
A sense of accomplishment. Okay, okay. I think it's also important for people, yeah, especially people who are going out, people who are preparing to get their jobs. I see a lot of people, especially in ITB as well, worry about like, oh, what can I do for my job in the future, my career. So it's nice to know that a creative-based community can really help you on that side. Okay, next question. We're getting close to the end now. What are the biggest challenges your community faces in helping its members grow, both personally and professionally?
I will say that the biggest challenges is definitely, well, the communication part, because it's
Mm,
not necessarily something that's very professionally used in something like right now when it comes to the community, because the community is by itself is a very much a hobby centric community. It's not something that people sort of like go to whenever they're talking about their professional self or their professional things. But by extension, that community is very much, uh, you could say, lighthearted and mostly for fun. But that doesn't mean that it's not a place that can have that. It's not something that people intrinsically, or like not really intrinsically, more like express by themselves. Oh, I want to get a job, I want to learn these skills so I can be better in the future. People don't outright say that. So it's not something that they consciously know about and consciously strive for when they're in this community. So a lot of the times, whenever it comes to things that they do get, they do learn, it's always unconscious, you could say. It's intrinsic. It's something that's not uh immediately obvious. It's not something that you expect yourself to go
uh,
into and learn, but it's
mm,
something
mm,
that
mm, mm.
slowly grows as you participate in the community. So I believe the
That's true.
one
That's
challenge
true.
is that if you have expectations, sometimes those expectations can't be met. Sometimes those expectations are definitely going to be not the same as what you expect it to be. Those expectations of whether what you can expect from a community, what you can expect from the content, when you can get it, where you can get it, how you can get it, it's not something that is they are to control, because it's something that just happens. It's something that you have to let go and see for yourself and wait for, and sort of just immerse yourself. So I believe that's the challenge, but also that's sort of a lesson that people should learn, is for people to temper their expectations and just be, just like have yourself be in the moment and experience what there is
In the
around
moment.
you
Mm-mm. Live in the moment. Mm.
in a way.
Do you say like communication as in like both professionally and personally, or like are you gonna talk more about the professional side?
It is both, because
Mm,
communication personally and professionally are both very different, but have the
that's
same
true.
intrinsic root,
Oh,
in that it's that they talk to one another in like whatever sense of the way about how they feel or what they think. And I feel like communication in terms of professionally is a lot harder within this community because it's not something that they're used to. It's something that because like most of the time it's they personally think about something. They personally think, oh, this and that. So in a professional way, it's a little bit off-putting in a way. But that doesn't mean that it's like not there. I wouldn't say the challenge is the communication itself, but more so the expectation of having to grow from that, from having to um, get something extraordinary from that. It's something that's sort of you just gradually get, you could say. And those skills aren't
Mm,
something that you just immediately just understand and accrue to in like a very short time. I think the challenges is more so like understanding the limitations of being in a hobby centric community, and that you just have to really have fun. Don't be so like,
fun.
like no, not to be
Don't be so
so,
serious.
yeah, not to be so serious about all of the things. It's always having that sort of balance
Mm-mm.
of just life and just fun and all that kind of stuff, but also if you want to mix in a little bit of professional side and growth and just talent centric talks and all that kind of stuff, that's definitely there, but it's not something that you just like focus wholeheartedly 100% on.
Mm, I see, I see. Okay, okay. All right, we're getting close. We're here to the final question. Hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. For the final question, was there anything else you think is important regarding the relationship between participation in hobby-based communities and the development of employability skills that we haven't discussed yet? Sorry, that was a bit of a mouthful, but
Oh.
you get it.
Could you
All right, let me speak
elaborate a
again.
little bit?
Okay, so let me repeat the question. Is there anything else you think is important regarding the relationship between participation in hobby-based communities and the development of employability skills that we have discussed yet? So basically, do you think is there like anything else that I'm missing that I haven't asked you about of the relationship and the link between hobby-based communities and the active participation? And like, is there like anything else that we haven't discussed yet that you want to bring out more about being active in a community and how it develops someone's employability skills, like we mentioned earlier?
Right. Okay. I believe there is one last thing I do want to say is that I think anyone can really make their own community and sort of develop their own employability like by that design. I think in my eyes, um, passion drives the world. It's the thing that you want the most, the thing that you strive for the most is something that you sort of have to keep to like within you at all times. And I believe from that, it's something that everyone should sort of keep to like keep that sort of thing going, keep that fire going, you could say.
Mm,
I really think that everyone has the ability to create their own community or create their own, well, anything really, their own path, their own uh career, their own dream, anything. But they need to put in the effort to do so. Because all this saying that I did not stop just from making this community and just talking on just maintaining this community. It took years. And that
years.
effort and that resilience, it is something that is not for the weak of heart, but it's not
Wow.
something
Mhm.
that people should give up on, no matter how hard that is, I will say. Because
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
even in the busiest parts of college, I still learned how to code. Even as I was working on my thesis, I still continued working on my series. Even as I was in a little village and with little to no technology, I
Wow.
still tried my best to work on it with a dinky ass laptop. Sorry for the
Dang. Okay.
profanity. um,
That's fine. That's
but
fine.
yes, I believe that if you have the drive to want to be part of something, if you have the drive to create or um sort of like achieve something that you want, it's a bit of a cliche thing to do, but you have to keep going. You have to keep working. You don't like give it up the moment you fail, the moment something stumbles, the moment you go through anything. Even if it takes 1 year, 2 years, a decade, it doesn't matter. You keep that thing going, you keep that passion going, and eventually people will see, people will follow, people will
People will
understand
follow.
all of the stuff that you're doing is based on passion, is based on the things that you love, not because of money, not because of this. If money is your passion, yeah, sure, but people will also see that. People will see from
Mm.
your intentions, from the things that you do, that it will inevitably reflect on your work. It will reflect on your um abilities and in your capability, in the way that you communicate everything. So what I
Mm.
want to say in all this is that when you are in this community, or whenever you're like doing anything in general, when you're looking into the future and wanting to do something, is to keep your passions going and always continue forward and just do something about it. Keep it going. Do something and create something. It's not too late. Whether or not you're older or young, it's never too late. So yeah, I think it's very important for people to keep their dreams and just keep it rolling.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's nice to see that journey. So, actually, I do have one more question just for you, since you are trying this. But um, what is the most looking back, like what has been the most rewarding part of building and leading this community?
I will say that the best part is seeing it done. Seeing
Wow.
something you create with your own two hands and looking back and watching it yourself, the result of your hard work. I feel like there's nothing like it. It's like that feeling of pride, but in a sense of actually seeing an accomplishment being made. It doesn't, like, even if I didn't get this community up to like 600 members, if I only had like 5 views, I would still look back at my video and just be proud because I made something. I spent that 2 years, and that was what I had to show for it, and I would be proud because I
Dang.
think from that end,
Wow.
from just doing that in general, just having to follow this pipe dream of wanting to create something of my own from just literally nothing, from little zero skills, and have it like just seeing it just done. That was all I could have asked for. It doesn't matter
Thank you
what,
for the time.
it doesn't matter what success, what money I get, what community I get, what, well, anything that I get. As long as I saw it done, as long as I followed my path, that's what matters.
Seeing it grow over time. That's amazing. I think that basically wraps everything up for the questions. Thank you so much, Chalice, for taking your time to speak with me today. Really appreciate your willingness to share your experiences and insights.
No problem.
Nice talk for the past 50 minutes. Your responses have been incredibly valuable for my research, especially. So, once again, thank you so much.
Of course.
Everything you've shared today will be used solely for my academic purposes as part of my business research methods assignment at SPMI TV. Your responses will remain confidential, of course, and I truly appreciate your contribution. If you don't mind, if I do have any follow up questions while transcribing or analyzing the interview, would it be all right if I contacted you again for clarification?
Of course, you can always ask me anytime.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much. Once again, thank you so much for your time and for helping me out with my research. I wish you and the Valiant Heart community all the best, and I hope the community continues to grow and inspire many more people to come. Thank you very much, Alice. Thank you. Thank
All right,
you.
thank you very much for having me.